Okay, it's Milton Watkins here from Milton Watkins Master Bookbinder, and I just wanted to give you an example today of the differences between a hollow back binding and a tight back binding. Now I can show you a really quick one here, and this is a tight back binding. This is an 1870 Bible, leather bound, and quite a nice little Bible, marbled end papers, etc. But the mistake that's been made, or they didn't know back in the day, how tight backs would go over a period of time. This hasn't been used much at all, so it's in still relatively good condition, just wearing here along the spine, so we'll need an underback repair at one stage. But when you open the spine, open the book, you will see the spine is actually stuck to the spine of the text block. The text block being these pages. Text block is the pages without a cover, and then you've got the cover. So there's two parts to the book. So you can see that because they've glued the spine, and what is it doing? It's actually putting this terrible pressure on the spine. And that's why a lot of the old leather books that are bound in a tight back formation crack and end up, especially if they're not used and sitting in the library, why would you have them? But if you do have them, that's all good. But if somebody starts to use this and reads through it, etc., it's just going to suffer terribly, and that spine, even though it's very strong leather, it will just crack up and fall apart. So that's a tight back binding. So to eliminate that, the other style of binding they had is a hollow back binding. This is a 150-year-old Bible here. Sorry, not a Bible. It's a 150-year-old Dr. Livingstone about his explorations. And it's, again, a leather book. It's already split at the spine, which is similar to that one. But this had a hollow back. So what happens, you can see the hollow forming in the spine here. So that's why the spine is still all in fairly good shape. So luckily, it's been done that way. So the hollow back binding seems to be the winner, obviously, in restoring old books, because you would want to save this as much as the binding as possible over the time you read it, and perhaps the future generations that read it after you or have it in their library. So having a hollow back is very important. So what do I do to remedy the tight backs? Is I use a special lining on the spine of the book. So when I say the spine of the book, when I am peeling back this spine and removing all this animal glue that has to come off and the other linings that are there very carefully. So what I have to do is put new linings of cheesecloth and mull, and the final lining will be the hollow back lining. Now, my hollow back linings are made of Arbolave Library Buckram. This is the material here. Very, very strong. It's almost like a canvas. You can see what's in there. Very strong material. I'd say it's be second to leather. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's the sort of material I use in the lining, because back in the day, all I used was the paper end paper. So all you've got is this piece of paper here that's actually hanging on to your boards, as well as the outer leather cover. So once that gives way, the first thing, as you know, is going to give way is the inside here where the end paper is. So the only thing, as I said, and this is the end paper here, so there's a cloth lining in there, but that's only holding these two pieces of paper, which are the end papers together. And then you've only got this tiny strip of material and glue that's there holding that cover on. So as soon as this lets go, the whole lot's going to come away. So that's why it's important to have a lining on the back like this. Now, the hollow back lining, what happens is, this is a tri-folded piece of hollow back lining, which is the Arbolave Library Buckram. And you can see the hollow that's forming in there. So this double-ended one would actually go on the spine side, while this one would go against the spine. So this would be the last final lining on the spine of the book. So as you can imagine, whenever you open the book to form the hollow lining, when you open it up, this shape would form, therefore keeping the curve of your spine, the outer spine, which is this one here. You'd want to keep that one in good shape, and the way to do that is to have a hollow back lining, so when you open your book right out to the middle, you're going to have, instead of the tight back, which is like that, That's what you don't want. You want it to form a hollow, so it keeps the shape of the curved spine. That's very important, to keep that shape. And the only way you can do it is by using a hollow back lining, and especially one as strong as this one here. This is very strong, this Library Arbelave. It's very, it's almost like a canvas, but it's a very fine material that you use in law books today and books for Parliament House, etc. So this is the only way to go to keep your book in good shape for a very, very long time, for many lifetimes. And yeah, so that is it. That's explaining the difference between the tight back binding, which of course is this one, which is there. You don't want to be bending that too many times. Which is fine because it's holding to the book, but the trouble is when you use the book, it's going to wear very quickly. The hollow back ones are great because you can read through them lifetimes, but eventually this is going to happen. And if it needs to be repaired, today I put in a buckram lining as the hollow back. So that's how it all works. So thanks very much for listening. Sorry I've taken your time. Talk to you soon. Bye.